Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Cheryl Yuen. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Carrie Lam submits her report card, saying her term has been the most challenging since 1997. Lawmakers have voted to abolish the MPF offsetting mechanism. And it's now legal to grow and sell marijuana in Thailand, but smoking the weed is still banned. Outgoing Chief Executive Carrie Lam says her 5-year term has been the most challenging since the handover. But in her last question and answer session in the Legislative Council, she said she had no regrets about her performance. Joanna Ho reports.
In her opening remarks, Chief Executive Carrie Lam said her single term in office was the most difficult since 1997. Hong Kong faced 2 crises during this time, the prolonged anti-government protest and an unprecedented pandemic.
但我可以大膽講一句，我已經交出咗一張無愧於我自己嘅成績表。
In an emotional speech, Lam said she was handing in her report card without regrets as she reaches the end of her 42-year journey as a public servant. While lawmakers thanked her for her contributions, Unionist legislator Michael Luke asked if she had ever regretted taking up the job. Lam replied that she had never thought of resigning and wanted to finish what was started.
有人曾經形容過我呢，就係佢遇到越困難嘅事呢，佢就越興奮。
She said she became motivated in difficult situations because she enjoys overcoming challenges. The chief executive said she believes that the government restructuring plan, which she had proposed and was adopted by incoming leader John Lee, would be approved by the Legislative Council when it is discussed next Wednesday. New bureaus and government positions, including 3 new deputy secretaries, will be in place on July 1st if the third reading goes smoothly. Lam welcomed suggestions to reform the civil service and said the next administration can consider calls by lawmakers to improve the performance evaluation system to motivate staff who would otherwise settle for a cushy job. At the end of the session, LegCo President Andrew Leung expressed his gratitude to Lam for valuing the relationship between the executive and legislative branches. Lam, who will be succeeded by Lee on July 1st, has answered over 440 questions from lawmakers during her term. Joanna Ho, HKIBC.
New COVID cases in Hong Kong have climbed to a 53-day high. The 674 infections registered today include 73 imported cases. One more class in a To Kwa Wan primary school has been asked to suspend lessons after 3 students and 1 teacher fell ill. Po Leung Kok Lam Man Chan English Primary School was advised to suspend Class 6A for a week. Meanwhile, a woman who works part-time in the Regala Sky City Hotel in Chek Lap Kok is suspected to have contracted the BA.4 or BA.5 Omicron subvariant. She had earlier eaten at a King's Prawn Nan Font seafood restaurant in Tung Chung. Those who dined there must undergo compulsory testing. Lawmakers have voted to abolish the mechanism that enables bosses to use their contributions to a pension fund for severance and long service payments. Labor sector lawmakers were elated, but asked for the abolition date to be brought forward. Macy Mock reports.
After a 2-day debate, most lawmakers agreed that the offsetting mechanism should go. The system allows employers to use their contributions to the mandatory provident fund to make severance and long service payments. The Liberal Party's Peter Hsu, who wanted to retain offsetting mechanism, accepted defeat.
我好希望勞工朋友佢哋嘅諗法其實係正確，我嘅諗法其實係不正確。
I hope the labor sector's thoughts are accurate and mine are not, he said. Hsu said he was concerned that abolition would increase labor conflicts. Liberal Party colleague Lee Chun-keung said now was not the right time to abandon the practice because many companies had closed down during the pandemic. Engineering sector lawmaker Lo Wai Kwok saying that both employers and employees have suffered because of the MPF's low interest rate. He joined 11 lawmakers to abstain from voting, but 72 others voted in favor of abolition and 5 against. Lawmakers representing unions were delighted.
We have witnessed a long history of the labor sector fighting for the abolition of this MPF offsetting mechanism, which is very unfair and unreasonable to employees in terms of retirement protection.
But Mac argued that it is unreasonable to wait 3 more years before the controversial practice is scrapped. Labor chief Law Chi Kwong described the vote as a historical moment, but hinted that the abolition dates cannot be brought forward because the MPF digital platform needs improvement. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
An experienced mountaineer has advised hikers to plan well and respect weather conditions. This comes after firefighters found the body of a hiker who was washed away yesterday by a flash flood in Tai Po Country Park. Kelly Pang reports.
A day after she was reported missing, the body of a 52-year-old hiker was found between rocks in a stream in Pheasantland Country Park. The woman and a friend had hiked to Bryce Pool and decided to swim in Dragon Ball Waterfall when she was swept away by a flash flood. The red rainstorm warning was enforced at the time. Reacting to the tragedy, an experienced local climber urged hikers not to take risks when the weather is bad.
I think most of people is careless. Is the people they thought this no problem, not serious problem, and they thought this easy, and because maybe they go there before, and they thought I have been there before, so I you know it's easy for me, and they didn't care about the weather, they didn't care about the water.
To avoid disasters, Chung said hikers must plan well before they set out.
Look yourself and the weather, and you look your experience and your equipment as well. So a lot of people just go and they never thought about the result.
Chung noted that long-range weather forecasts can help hikers make better decisions. Kelly Pang, HKIBC.
Overseas, Thailand has taken another step towards fully legalizing marijuana by removing cannabis and hemp plants from its narcotics list. Customers cheered as they walked into a cannabis cafe in Bangkok this morning. The rule change means it is now legal to grow and sell marijuana so long as a permit is obtained. Recreational use remains prohibited, although law enforcement has long been lax. In 2018, Thailand became the first country in Southeast Asia to legalize marijuana for medical use, as the government hopes to tap into the economic potential of the plant. The U.S. House of Representatives has voted in favor of some gun control measures, but Senate endorsement is highly unlikely. Lawmakers earlier heard from a girl who tricked the gunman in last month's school massacre in Texas by pretending to be dead.
Shot my teacher and told my teacher goodnight and shot her in the head. And then he shot some of my classmates and the whiteboard. When I went to the barracks, he shot my friend that was next to me. And I thought he was going to come back to the room. So I grabbed the blood and put it all over me.
I come because I could have lost my baby girl. She's not the same little girl that I used to play with, hang around with, and do everything, because she was daddy's little girl. But I wish something will change, not only for our kids, but every single kid in the world, because schools are not safe anymore. Something needs to really change.
Despite the harrowing testimonies, 204 lawmakers, mostly Republicans, rejected the proposal to ban high-capacity ammunition magazines and allow only those over 21 years old to buy semi-automatic rifles. The package passed with the support of 218 Democrats and 5 Republicans, but it is expected to fail in the evenly divided Senate. China's trade surplus last month widened to $78 billion on the back of robust exports and imports. Exports surged almost 17% from May last year, more than double market expectations. Imports rose 4%, marking the first gain in 3 months. The increases came as factories in the world's second biggest economy reopened and supply chain disruptions continued to ease. But further progress is clouded by external factors, including the high cost and supply of raw materials and the war in Ukraine. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index was down 145 points. Top 10 active stocks. Tencent was up $3.40, Alibaba up $2.50. Tracker Fund was down 10 cents, and Kuaishou was down 10 cents. Forex trading against the Hong Kong dollar. Euro is at 8.42, British pound at 9.84, Australian dollar at 5.62. The London FTSE is currently down 57 points. Locally, 8 Labrador puppies have begun training to keep drugs and dangerous items out of the city. It's the first time that the Customs Department and the Aviation Security Company have bred Labradors to become detector dogs. Maisie Mock reports.
These Labrador puppies are only 4 months old, but Dolly, Ellie, Fatty, Eagle, Nico, Dobie, Hunter, and Kilo are already training to become detector dogs. As part of the Defend HK team, they will work with the Customs and Excise Department and the Aviation Security Company to sniff out drugs and other dangerous items. The Customs Department wants to breed its own dogs to cut costs and ensure a stable supply of recruits.
In the past, procuring detector dogs from overseas suppliers involved various expenses, including purchase of dog, transportation, training, etc. We cannot guarantee our requirements can be fully met by the supplier.
Dolly and her siblings have accomplished parents. Their father is an explosives detector dog and their mother sniffs out drugs. The adult dogs were selected because they are strong, hardworking, and have a good sense of smell.
These enthusiastic canines have been undergoing agility training in the past 2 months to boost their courage and concentration. Next up is specialized training to search for banned items such as drugs, firearms, and explosives.
After training, 6 of the puppies will join the Customs detector dog teams and the other 2 will work at the airport. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
On to the weather now. The wet spell continues tomorrow with heavy showers and squally thunderstorms. Temperatures will swing between 25 and 28 degrees, remaining wet on Saturday with sunny intervals on Sunday. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Thursday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Cheryl Yuen. Good night.